Have you ever noticed that the women who seem the most confident in relationships are often the ones who never chase? They don't send multiple texts when a man goes silent. They don't constantly wonder what they did wrong. They don't spend sleepless nights trying to figure out how to make someone choose them. And yet, they often attract the healthiest relationships. At first, that seems completely backwards. Most people believe that if you want something, you should fight for it. You should put in more effort. You should show more interest. You should prove your value. But relationships don't work that way. In fact, the moment a woman starts chasing a man, she often begins to lose something far more important than his attention. She begins to lose her sense of self. The truth is that confident women don't avoid chasing because they're playing games. They don't do it to appear mysterious or hard to get. They simply understand something that many people spend years trying to learn. You cannot build a healthy relationship by convincing someone to see your worth. And once you truly understand that, everything changes. One of the biggest reasons people chase is uncertainty. Uncertainty creates anxiety. When someone starts pulling away, responding more slowly, or becoming emotionally distant, the mind immediately starts searching for answers. Maybe he's losing interest. Maybe I said something wrong. Maybe I'm not attractive enough. Maybe there's someone else. The more uncertainty grows, the stronger the urge becomes to regain control. That's why so many women send another text, and then another, and then another. Not because they're desperate, because they're looking for reassurance, they want proof that everything is okay, they want to feel safe again. But here's the problem. The more your emotional state depends on another person's response, the less power you have over your own happiness. Confident women understand this. They understand that uncertainty is uncomfortable, but they also understand that discomfort is not an emergency. Just because someone becomes distant doesn't mean you need to immediately react. Sometimes the most powerful response is observation. Instead of chasing answers, they watch what happens. Instead of forcing clarity, they allow people's actions to reveal the truth. And eventually, the truth always reveals itself. Another reason confident women don't chase is because they know their value. This sounds simple, but it's actually one of the rarest qualities in the world. Most people know their value only when someone else confirms it. They feel attractive when someone compliments them. They feel important when someone gives them attention. They feel worthy when someone chooses them. But what happens when those things disappear? For many people, their confidence disappears too. Confident women operate differently. Their self-worth is not built on external validation. Of course, they enjoy compliments. Of course, they appreciate love and attention. They're human. But they don't depend on those things to feel valuable. If a man loses interest, they don't automatically assume they're the problem. They don't immediately begin criticizing their appearance. They don't convince themselves that they're not good enough. Instead, they ask a different question. Is this person right for me? That small shift changes everything. Most people focus on being chosen. Confident women focus on choosing, and those are two completely different mindsets. One mindset comes from fear, the other comes from self-respect. This is also why confident women pay attention to actions instead of words. Words are easy. Anyone can say the right thing. Anyone can promise commitment. Anyone can talk about the future. But actions require effort. Actions reveal priorities. Actions reveal character. Imagine a man who constantly tells you how much he cares. He says you're special. He says he wants something serious. He says he sees a future with you, but he rarely makes time for you. He disappears for days. He only reaches out when it's convenient for him. What should you believe? His words or his behavior? Confident women know the answer. They believe patterns because patterns rarely lie. People can fake words. It's much harder to fake consistent action. This understanding protects them from wasting months or even years investing in the wrong people. One of the greatest strengths of a confident woman is that she is not afraid to lose the wrong person. That doesn't mean rejection doesn't hurt. It does. Everyone experiences disappointment. Everyone experiences heartbreak. Confidence doesn't make you immune to pain. What it does is change your relationship with pain. Many people tolerate unhealthy situations because they fear loneliness more than they fear unhappiness. Think about that for a moment. They stay with people who don't respect them. They accept behavior they know is wrong. They ignore obvious warning signs, not because they're happy, but because they're afraid to let go. Confident women understand something important. Being alone for a season is far less damaging than spending years with someone who constantly makes you question your worth. They understand that loneliness passes, but the damage caused by sacrificing your self-respect can stay with you for a very long time. That's why they don't cling to people who aren't choosing them. They don't beg for attention. They don't negotiate for basic respect. They don't try to earn love through endless effort. Because healthy love isn't something you have to chase. Healthy love is something that naturally moves in both directions. This leads to another important truth. Chasing often destroys attraction. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't show interest. Healthy relationships require effort from both people, but there's a difference between showing interest and chasing validation. When someone constantly pursues a person who is giving little in return, an unhealthy dynamic begins to form. One person is investing, the other person is receiving. One person is chasing, the other person is deciding. Over time, the balance becomes completely uneven, and relationships rarely survive when respect disappears. Confident women understand that attraction grows strongest when two people freely choose each other, not when one person is desperately trying to convince the other. That's why they focus on building fulfilling lives outside of relationships. They invest in their careers, their health, their friendships, their goals, their passions, their personal growth, because they know that a relationship should add value to their life, not become their entire identity. When a woman builds a life she genuinely loves, something powerful happens. She stops viewing relationships as a rescue mission. She stops believing that another person is responsible for her happiness. And ironically, that's often when she becomes most attractive. Not because she's trying harder, but because she's no longer operating from fear. She's operating from abundance. And people can feel that energy. At the end of the day, confident women never chase because they understand a simple truth. The right person will never require you to abandon your self-respect in order to keep them. The right relationship will never force you to constantly prove your value. The right connection will never make you feel like love must be earned through exhaustion. The most attractive thing about a woman is not her appearance. It is her self-respect. It is her ability to walk away from what does not serve her. It is her confidence to choose herself when necessary. And it is her understanding that real love is never something that has to be chased. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to The Feminine Mind for more insights on relationships, confidence, emotional intelligence, and personal growth. And remember, the moment you stop chasing validation is often the moment you begin attracting what truly belongs in your life.